Well, I'm so very excited about this project. It has been my passion for 15 years, and it's always such a pleasure to work with Bill. This is our very special piece that we do together, and it really is. I can say without any reservation that this is a singular piece of theater. It's epic in scale, and it contains multitudes, as you would expect from three plays going on simultaneously. The things I'm excited about with the piece, there's so many, but I get very, very excited about the ways that the three stories intertwine and the shared thematics of all three of the stories, which in some ways is unexpected when you think about a musical comedy and two tragedies being placed side by side. But there are many shared thematics. There are three primary love relationships that are examined in the piece in each of the plays. In Cinderella, you get a couple that's at the beginning of their relationship. In Macbeth, you get a couple that's in the thick of the sort of middle path of their relationship and all of the things that they find to do together as a couple, and then the beginning of a separation of that couple. And carried through into the Medea story, you see a couple at the end of their relationship. And that's very fascinating to me, that swath that runs through those three plays. In addition to that, of course, we talk a lot about the theme of ambition that's in the piece. That is something that's shared by all the characters and examined, in particular through the three title characters. And there's murder, there's magic, supernatural events that happen in all three plays. So it's very interesting to me that as different as stories can be, there's something about the root of storytelling across time and across place that that these same kinds of things, questions and ideas and thoughts about living and about love and about what life is all about, that keep coming up again and again and being retold in different ways, which was originally the sort of thesis for why the piece was put together to begin with. And the large-scale spectacle of the piece is very exciting to me. We utilize lots of theatrical components in the piece. In the Greek piece, we utilize masks, drawing from the traditional way that Greek theater was originally presented. The music of the piece, it is a musical. We do call it a musical. The Greek choral odes in the Medea story are sung to music, as is thought perhaps originally they were. And of course, the Rodgers and Hammerstein amazingly delightful score of Cinderella. There is music in Macbeth, and soundscape, and we have a wonderful sound designer, Darren West, who's very well known. No one gets murdered in the Cinderella story, but there's definitely a thread of there's a thread of sadness and of psychological abuse that runs through that piece. The Cinderella story, of course, draws from the original root of many of the classic fairy tales, which, of course, in their original telling, were quite harsh in many ways. And the original Cinderella story involved the stepsisters actually chopping off parts of their feet to fit their foot into the slipper. And the family dynamic of the stepfamily and Cinderella is quite sad, quite difficult. And so some of those, even though there's a happy ending in that story, there's quite a rough road along the way. So the the optimistic happiness that the musical comedy contains in our production at many points in the story permeates and maybe is amplified within the two tragedies, and vice versa. The sadness and the more fraught aspects of the more challenging aspects of the Cinderella story become foregrounded a little bit more when they're placed in proximity to the other two stories.